Welcome, welcome, welcome. Blaze is back. Welcome to, well, the first of a couple of streams that I'm going to do, and it's all about C++ game programming. And Saturday's test stream went quite well. It's 7.5 hours long, so I don't expect you to watch it. Instead, what we're going to do is we'll go over everything that I discovered on Saturday, and we will hopefully then make some progress. Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah. So, welcome to Amberskies. Amberskies is the future of 3D on the internet, I guess, because it's a network. Amberskies is actually a network. It's a 3D network, and I'm putting it together. I've decided it's going to have a game aspect to it, as well as just the straightforward network side to it. For that, we're going to need game rules, and I suppose that's really what this is more about. Game rules and things like that. So where are we up to? Let's have a look. We're using Visual Studio 2019 because we can. Let's see if it'll work today, shall we? Well, we got it here. Okay, yes it will. Here we go. And this is Visual Studio 2019. Looks no different to 2017 and practically isn't. There you go. We have our main. As you can see, I am using downwards programming writing, so we get blocks. The only trouble with this system is it doesn't put me lines in between the blocks. I don't know why. It'll put me dot dashes and dashes and dots between them, but not here. Maybe it's because it needs a bracket early. I don't know. Does it need a bracket early for this system? Doesn't seem to affect it. Alright. Fair enough. There we go. Not bothered. That's why I really wanted to use my beautiful other system, which works better when it works, except it doesn't work on Windows, and it's Microsoft. Yeah, Microsoft didn't want it to work on Windows because they wanted people to use Visual Studio 2019, so I will. I don't care. So here we are with this system, so you can see what I've done. Let's put main up. There we go, that's main. Basically it's a printf, which outputs formatted text to the console. We then put the text that we want to print, and every line has to end in a semicolon. That's the next line. So that's that line. Then we have places a window upon the desktop with an OpenGL surface. That's window 3D, which I'll go through. Title of the window, width, height, end your command with a closing bracket. As you can see, it highlights, so I suppose it's okay. And a semicolon. This is instead of just writing it all on one line, which I suppose might look okay, but no thanks. I can't use that because I want to put these in. Then we're going to the game loop. Yeah, the game loop I'm going to call it, because it's a game and it's a loop. So while Windows is open, check if it's open, that's a good idea. We're going to clear the screen, do some stuff, and then update the window. There you go, that's it. Return 0, just exits the program, returning your 0 through int. Some eagle-eyed people will say, but you've missed out your argvs and your arg... Go away. I know I have. Don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it unless it's needed. So that's where we're up to. Very difficult program to make. For anybody who has no experience in C++, that is possibly the simplest program you'll ever see me write. If you want to know what is C++ about this program, I've talked about this many a time on YouTube. Anything in blue, if you're colourblind, that's int, while, and return. And I'm not being funny about the colourblind business because I have disabilities as well. So int, while, and return are the only C++ commands in there. The rest of it is just C++ syntax, and if you're coming to me as an experienced C++ writer, you'll be thinking, that's a weird way of writing it, isn't it? Why don't you just go across in lines and save all the space? You'll see. You'll see. Especially when we come to looking at the window. It was something I was testing out on YouTube, whether to go back to the best practices that I was taught when I was learning to do C++. And I'm going to stick with it because for beginners and people like me, this is easier. It's as simple as that. Right. The window uses glfw. So let's go and have a quick look at my setup here. Let's look at the setup next, before we look at the window. So the setup is, I'm on Workspace, Thinking Club, Game Maker. Do I still need Game Maker? No, I don't. Right, so I've got, in the Thinking Club, I've got Depths and Twitch. In Twitch is the solution, and in Depths is my dependencies, which is a binary, include, and libs. Under include, I've got glfw, SDL2, and under GL we have glue, and some other things that glue gives you. Okay, that's the includes. Under libs, we have all the libraries. glue32s.lib I'm using, it's a static lib. glfw is a static lib anyway, and SDL2 isn't. I've got all the SDL2 stuff, and you have to download SDL2 net separately. So you can download SDL2, dump that in there, and then SDL2 net download and dump that in there. That's the libraries I'll be using. I'm not using SDL2 at the moment because I use that only for the networking. In the binary, SDL2 is not a static library, so SDL2 net is not a static library, so it has a DLL, and that will have to go into your final executable area if you want it to work. I just hope I remember to do it. That's the dependencies. Yeah, that'll do. So that's how I set up my dependencies. And Thinking Club is just Twitch. I used because I can, and Game because that's what it is. And we've got I have display, obviously. I have exec, which is where I have my executable. And that's it. That's all I have at the moment. And display is obviously these two. To see it like that properly from within here, you just highlight your show all files and it'll give you an extra one of external dependencies. I don't know why it does that, but we get display, exec, and intermediate. I'll show you how to do that in a second. Game, display, yeah, we haven't got there. And all you need to do is right click on your game, go down to properties, and this is where the fun starts. Here we go. Let's do the setup quickly. Grab your coffee, grab your coffee. It's gonna happen now. Oop, there you go, that's my coffee hitting the microphone, so we'll get that away from me so I can drink it. Output directory. I've changed. Oh, all configurations, platform, whatever platform you're on. Output directory, I just changed it to that. EX, EC, / and intermediate directory. I've altered that. We're in configuration properties general. Okay, so those two I've changed. Everything else I've just left the same because, well, I think I changed that one. Maybe. It doesn't always give you the 2017 standards, so make sure in the 2017 standards, that will help you. Advanced. Not going there. Debugging. Not going there. Directories. I leave alone. So that's you done. Let's go to C++, general. Include directories. This is generic. I use that. Which you can't see. There you go. Duh. There you go. I use $solution directory, go up 1, across to deps, and into include. Which is why I put my deps dependencies outside of just one above my solutions directory. As I said, Twitch is my solutions directory. So do be careful of that. Make it relative to your solutions. It will help you immensely later on. Plus, I can now bundle this up and send it out to anybody who requests, and it'll work straight off with all the dependencies that I send them as well. There we go. It'll also work on Linux, because I've written it and set up my dependencies in Linux style. Yay! So if you are on Linux, don't worry. This code is exactly the same on Linux as it is on Windows. Isn't that clever of me? Not really. It's because I write on Linux normally. It's just that I wanted to do this series on Windows to be abnormal. And I'm getting cold. That is abnormal. It's because I've got a door open. So that's your additional include directories. That was hard. Nope. Optimization, leave alone. Preprocessor, I added edit. I added the following. Glue static to make it a static library. Use math defines so that I can have pi when I need it. Yeah, I know m_pi as a thing. You need to actually put that in to even get it. Thanks. I'm GUI. You don't need to put this next one in, but I'm putting it in early because I'll forget otherwise. Because I'm going to use I'm GUI in a bit, or later on, or sometime. Opengl Loader glue. That just sets it to the implementation of Opengl with glue for I'm GUI. Here we go. I'm GUI is called Dear I'm GUI. You can look it up and download it prematurely if you wish. I've already downloaded it. I've already got it, so I don't mind. That's that lot. Code generation. Really isn't anything else in here. It's just preprocessor in the general. Precompiled headers, I'll be using them. Doesn't say, don't care. No, there's nothing else in here. Okay. I'll stop that one then. Linker. General. Oh, there, yes, this line here. Edit, and as you'll see, it's just $solution ... deps libs. That's to do your libraries. Nice. That's okay. So nothing special going on there. Input is the only things I've added so far, although SDL2 might come into here and SDLnet will come in here as well, is glue, GLFW and OpenGL. I've put those three in because that's what I need right now. For the window, I want glue, GLFW and OpenGL, because it's an OpenGL window. Okay. Anything else? Oh yeah, code analysis I changed as well. I just switched it on, just to enable it. Because I wanted it to analyse my code, just in case I make a complete another mess of it and an embarrassment of myself. Ooh. Let's go over to that then. There we go, that's everything. That's the whole setup, really. How did I make this file? I just asked it to make me a C++ console file. File. New. Oh, right, it doesn't give me a solution now, does it? Never mind. Forget it then. Don't care. I'll show you. Close solution. Thank you. So from this screen, I just went create new project. I asked it for C++ console app. Prints hello world by default. So I clicked on that one. I went next. I put game in the top, Twitch in the bottom for the solution. And that was it, I think. I just hit create and it did everything else for me. There we go. And as you can see, solution Twitch, game. There you go. Can't really be much simpler than that. On here, so I've got my website, haven't I? So I'll pop my Twitchy thingy. Here is Twitch. What am I going to call it? That's Fraser Sharp. No, it's not. It's Fraser with a Z. Blades with a Z. Sharp. There we go. That's Twitch. And YouTube is Amberskies. If you look up Amberskies C++, you're going to get me. Don't worry. You're going to find me. And why hasn't that put Dubris in front of it? You silly machine. Thank you, Microsoft. You can nearly get something right one day. So that's that. I'll take a copy of that, please. To update everything with. So under display, just post it there. There we go, and under window, I'll just post it there. There we go. So, that's that done. That's that done. Let's have a look at this window.h, shall we? It's an easy one. Alright, window.h. Hash pragma once. That means that this file can only be included once by the compiler. And that's exactly what it means, folks. That's exactly what it means. Hash pragma once. I only want this file to be included by the compiler once, and once only. No duplications, please, Mr. Compiler. We're happy with what we have. What we are including is glue.h, which exposes the OpenGL functions for C++ and C. We have glfw, which is a C++ Windows. Creates contexts and surfaces for receiving input and events. We have IOStream from the standard library to input and output the C++ standard streams, i.e. std : cout, C error, C whatever. And we include string, the standard library, storage class for text. There you are. The first command from C++ is namespace game. Always use a namespace. And I mean always. Always and forever. Start singing, you on the side, you goopy. Oh, thank you. Thank you. They're singing away over there. So, namespace game. And namespace display. 2 namespaces. That's a lot of protection I've given this code. Namespaces protect your code from clashes of naming conventions. So if you name something the same twice and it's in different namespaces, that's fine. If it isn't in different namespaces, it's hi there to crash time, crashland, blue screen, yay. Don't do that. Never program into the open. The only place where you should be in the unguarded open is on your main. And that's the main entry point for any, an ant? No, any C++ or C program. That's the only time I will ever program. And you'll see I don't program a lot in that area because it's unguarded. So I keep that to a minimum. I might even pull this out into a separate header file just because of that. Back to H. Let's have a look at it. There you go, that's the whole thing. Begin it. Okay. So if you want to type it out, go free. Go ahead, free. You can do what you want with it. Disclaimer. Take my code. Do what you like with it. Don't mind. I really don't mind. So if anybody ever says, "Oh, you copied that from," no, I haven't. This is my code. This is what I've done. This is how I've done it. This is basically straight from the internet for GLFW. This is really what it gives you. So there we go. You might notice that my initialize window 3D is in private and not public. So we have a class. We call it window 3D. We have a public section, a private section. Classes by default are private, so all of the variables at the top are private, cannot be accessed from outside of the class. And anything that's private at the bottom cannot be accessed from outside of the class. So why have you done that? And put your initialization as private? It's because I don't want anybody to mess it up and interfere from outside of the class on the initialization method. I don't want any interference from outside of the class and how it's initialized. And that's why I did that. Nobody else is going to initialize it. The class will initialize it. So there we go. We have the window 3D. We're going to take in a title, a width and a height. Not a lot of information. The bare minimum, really. We're going to store the title in mtitle. We're going to store the width in mwidth. And we're going to store the height in mheight. What does M stand for? It stands for member, or member variable, if you want to know. It means it's a member of the class. So it's a class variable and can be accessed by the class anywhere that the class wishes. It's available to all of the methods or functions within the class. So all of these are available to all of these. That's nice. Yeah, I know. But it's also the reason why I made them private, so that nobody outside can accidentally mess around with these and make my class null and void and crash by accident. Anyway, what we're going to do is open clear screen update, initialize. Standards, really, standards. There's a couple of missing ones here. I should also have the copy. We should have really constructor, destructor and copy. I haven't done copy because I just ignored it. Okay. How does it look? Let's have a look at one at a time, shall we? I like the way it does that. No. Okay. So here we go. Everything has to be a member of Window 3D. Whilst it's in the header file, the fact that it's within those two braces, or within this scope, means it's within the scope of Window 3D. So those are all members. This is all members of the class Window 3D. As soon as you come to your CPP file, how will it know? It knows because we put Window 3D : to put it back within the scope of Window 3D. So that's what that is there. Okay, so at the beginning of each one of these we have Window 3D : and then the function name, to make sure that the compiler knows that, like, Window 3D constructor is part of Window 3D. So at any time you see a : read it backwards. It means that whatever is on the right hand side is part of that, and that is part of display, and display is part of game. So that's game : display : Window 3D : Window 3D. Yeah. Fun, huh? Anyway, go figure. There's my initialize. As I said, I will initialize it. Why didn't I just initialize it here? Because it looks ugly. That's really the name of the game. Make it easy to read. So the constructor does the initialization. That's easy to determine now, because you can look at it and you can say, oh, the constructor does the initialization. That's interesting. As I said, mtitle, mwidth, mheight are stored. Title, width and height. So I've actually put that in the constructor. The way we do that is by using this colon here. That means that anything after here is extras. So you have your definition here, and then a colon, and then a list. You can put those all on one line. A list of variables and their values in brackets. Or that means mtitle equals title. It saves me having to put it as a list here. Mtitle equals title, semicolon, mwidth equals width, semicolon. It just looks a bit better if you do it that way. There we go. Destructor is a little bit more involved. Window. I haven't put it here. Okay. Well, window is an asterisk. Have I got any other asterisk? I'm sure I put something else as an asterisk. I did title. I've got to delete that as well. So I'll add that here now. Yeah, we can just do it here, can't we? And that is m_title. Have to do that one as well. And that is deletes the storage for the window title. Because we had it as a pointer, it is a memory location and storage assigned to us by the operating system. All pointers must be deleted. That's a rule of thumb. As soon as you see a star, so like m_window, the address in memory where our OpenGL window is stored, the address in memory for storage for text. No, that isn't. That is now address storage. Got to get it right. Address storage for text. Yep, that's okay now. That's straight storage. That's straight storage, and that just tracks successfully initialized. Yeah, that's good stuff. Good stuff. We're getting there. We're getting there. See how I'm modifying as I go along? Always modify as you go along. If we've initialized, in other words, has initialized, we have to terminate the glfw to release the glfw resources back to the operating system. Don't do that. You get a memory leak. Oh dear. And if you don't do that, you get a memory leak. But title isn't really a big one. It's a couple of bytes rather than... could be rather large. Yeah. If it hasn't initialized, then there isn't a glfw to terminate. So that's why it's an if statement. Is open. Just returns a value of true or false. A bool. True or false. And the true or false is... has the glfw window been asked to close? In other words, has anybody clicked on the little X mark in the top right hand corner? If that equals 0, it says no, nobody has. If it's a 1, then yes, somebody has clicked on it. So I've chosen 0 to check that nobody's clicking on clickety on the top right hand X. And if that's true, and that it's been initialized is also true, then we'll say, hey, the window is open. Well done, true. Send that back. Simplistic, that is the tricky bit. Do I use 1 ampersand or 2 ampersands? Well, it's a logical operator, so it's 2. It's not an assignment. An assignment would be 1. As you will see in the next bit here where we use a logical OR, and we only use 1 because it's an assignment. So under clear screen, we ask OpenGL to clear a couple of buffers on the graphics card, and we OR them together so it clears them both at the same time. Saves time, that's all, instead of doing it as 2 separate lines of GL clear. Just clears the specified buffers, and the OR says it's a bitwise operation. If you want to know more about bitwise operations, ask. I'll go through it, I don't mind. I can't imagine how I'm going to explain that one, but hey ho, I'll try. I'll do my best. That's what I'm here for. Oh, right. Interesting. Let's have a look at... Ooh, update window is just... GLF poly events. Yeah, I'm just going to go over here. So, GLFW poly events, what does that do? It checks with the operating system for any eventies. I should call that events. Any events that have happened on the keyboard and the mouse in this case, I'm going to be interested in. Yes, we're going to do mouse and keyboard through the window. That's very interesting. But I only want one window to do it. I don't want this window to do it. Oh, that's going to be awkward. I've just realized something. I'm going to need 2 different windows. I'm going to need a mouse and keyboard one for the UI, for the user interface, and I'm going to need a different window for the output. Wow, there's a good idea. So we will have a different one for this is going to be the generic all dancing, all bells and whistles user interface window. Okay, I've decided already now. I should put UI at the beginning of it really, then, shouldn't I? No, it's a generic, standard bells and whistles one. We'll put our user interface in this one. That's fine. Next line just swaps the buffers. As you can see, I get completely at random off track. Don't worry. That's how I work. I randomly spin ideas off as I'm going. Yeah. I'm just going to put that there as a reminder. You'll see why I'm doing all these notes in a minute. And if you're not doing all of these notes, then you're stupid. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're just like I used to be, a lazy programmer. I found out the hard way not to be that. Swap buffers, yeah. Swaps the windows, front and back buffers. Remember, when you're looking at your window, or what you see on screen is only your front buffer. What we actually draw to and what that clears is the back buffer. There you go. Back buffers. And that's important. You're not clearing what you see on screen. Ever. Don't ever do that. In private, we do the initialize, and the initialize is the biggie. So, here we go. Set up the environment for the GLFWR window. And I just need to close that door. It's got a draft. The door was a little bit drafty, and I have a convection. Oh right, my computer's not that hot. Oh, there's a bit of warmth coming off it there. It's convection cooled, which is why you can't hear it through the mic. Right, okay. Yeah, that's kicking off a little bit of heat. Maybe I should have played a game first. Not enough heat, really, to make me warm. But hey ho, it's the middle of the day, Blaze. What do you mean it's cold? It's dull, it's overcast, it's cold over here in Englandy land. It's not warm, but it's not cold either. It's just in between. I've got some black bubbly burpee liquid. Oh, yay! Let's have some of this. I've run out of coffee, haven't I? Yeah, drank me coffee. I suffer from dehydration due to medication. Sorry. I have to keep drinking. I wish it was alcoholic, but it's not. Because I can't drink that because of medication. Oh, what a chicken and egg situation that one is. Hopefully that'll start me burping. Nearly. So let's initialize a GLFW. Initialize. Okay, you probably read through all this already by the time I've shut the door and everything. GLFW init initializes the whole library, not just one little bit of it, not your window. It's the whole library, and it returns 0 if it fails, which 0, by the way, is false. 1 is true, 0 is false, for anybody who wants to know out there. So we're going to give it a load of window hints. The window hints that I have chosen to give it are 3 and 3 for the major and minor versions for the context. That means OpenGL 3.3. You are probably on OpenGL 4.5 plus on your graphics card, so it can certainly handle 3.3. If you're using a graphics card that can't use 3.3, in other words, it's on below 3.0, 3.3 is the lowest, isn't it? I think 3.0 even uses 120. Let's give you the rundown of... Oh no, I didn't realise it would do that. Look at this. What's going on? Alright, okay. Alright, let's have a look at this. Opengl version wiki. Thank you. Version overview. Doesn't say on here, does it? Yeah, there we go. 330. 3.2 is 150. Yeah, it starts going a bit weird. So Glsl is the reason why I choose 330, because it's the first one that gives us 3.30. Backports as much function as possible from OpenGL 4 specification. So we get virtually everything. Up to modern standards is on 3.30, but it also means that most people can run it. And if you can't, well, your your GLSL for your shaders will be different to whatever I do, and you're going to have to be careful with your shaders and how your shaders are done. If you get into bother when we do shaders, then we have this little system here where you can talk to me. And oh, like that. Isn't it good? There you go. Talk to me, I don't mind. I could fit that there, can I? Yeah, I can fit that there. So there you go. That's the reason why I chose 330 or 3.3, because it's the first one that recognizes it translates to the correct GLSL as all the rest do here. So you can put in 4.5 for all I care and use GLSL 450. Your choice. It's a free world. There you go. Isn't it great when you get choices? Especially with me. Oh, Blaze, you're so kind. No, I just like doing lots and lots of extra work. There we go. Oh, every time I click on here now, it's going to disappear on the chart. Fantastic. Well done, chat. Can you not make this always on top? If anybody knows how to make my chat always on top, let me know. I'll just leave it there for now on that side. So, we understand now why we're using 3.3. And that's all I'm doing, is I'm just saying to GLFW, hey, why don't we use 3.3? I don't know if it will or not. I haven't checked. I think I should check that. Yeah, we'll check that today. Because I haven't run this yet, have I? No. This is everything that I did on Saturday, by the way. It's exactly the same, except I'm just adding things as I go through now. This is the actual line that the actual command that makes your window. It does have these last two things, which I don't know a lot about, and I don't really care. I think you can choose which monitor to put your window on, and window share. Yeah, I haven't looked up, so there you go. I don't know what it means because I haven't looked it up, but if anybody wants to know what it means, I'll go and look it up. I don't mind. So it's obviously width, height and title, which are those three things that I brought into the class, or asked for. Check that the window has initialized. Okay. So we're going to check. If it is false, then we're going to set our has initialized to false, and we're going to return out of this whole thing with a false, because there's no point carrying on. There you go. I could have just put return equals false at that point there. It doesn't matter, because M has initialized. Hold on a minute. Initialize window. I'm just setting the variable twice. I'm an idiot. So yeah, that is absolute cobblers. That block is rubbish. Sorry. If glue init. Right, this is GLEW init. Is not equal to that. Okay, I do want it on a separate line then. Then we just return false. Don't need any brackets or speciality bits because I can use a shorthand notification. End initialization if false. I'll just put that in for a second whilst I'm looking at this again. Check to make sure GLFW has initialized. Yeah. Done it again here, haven't I? See, this is why I have all the notes on things, and I then might spot something and think, oh, that's absolute cobblers, which it is. And it's exactly end initialization if false. There we go. Lovely. That makes that smoother. So we only try and initialize glue if... Well, you won't have got that far, will you? If that is false, or if window equals... Alright, you won't have got that far. Don't need that check. You see, this is what happens. That check's useless. It can't be anything but true. So a one-sided check is useless. A bit like an unsigned check in reality. There we go. So I can shorten that down to that. Simple. I'm just trying to make it simpler. But you can see how if you use a bit of logic on something, you can change it quite rapidly into something that's not as complicated and will run faster. Right. Equals that. Yeah. 0. It comes back as a 0. Great. Returns 0 if fails. Yeah, that's better. Return 0 equals failure. So at least now you know what MWindow is going to have. It's either going to have the handle. God, look at all of their notes compared to mine. My God, they do a lot more than me. Get off. Yeah. So that's now better. That's better explained now. Return 0 equals failure. Yeah. Okay, it's not in English. That is not English, and I can't be bothered right now thinking of an English way of putting it. My English isn't that good. Right, so we've got to that glue failure. We are going to then throw some switches on the OpenGL, because after glue in it, we have OpenGL. Oh, black burpy bubbly liquid is nice today. Can I put the top back on the bottle? Thank you. There's something missing here and I can't remember what it was. I would normally put it around here. Just trying to think where I would put it as an interest. It doesn't do anything, it's just... there we go, there's stuff written all over this machine here. There is an Opengl command, and all it does is tell us a version, and it's getString, is it? OGL getString? I think it is. Let me just check on my OpenGL notes. I've got millions, gazillions of OpenGL notes. And the answer is you don't know. Right, okay. I think it's getString anyway, so I'll pop it in here. These are all the enables, aren't they? So let's pop in here. GL, I think it's getString. I think it is anyway. Get string. Does that exist? Yeah, it does. Excellent. Can we have some space on it? Yeah, we can. Good. Alright, what do we want to get? Just the version, I think. So GL underscore VERSI. There you go, version. That'll do. Fantastic. Do we want to know? Yeah, we can wrap that up, can't we? we don't need to assign it to anything. So if I come here, I could wrap that block up. Yeah, I can. I could use Printf, which I seem to have lying around doing nothing. Printf. What do we want in a printf? Yeah, okay. We'll just have Opengl version and open brackets, close brackets, and in the brackets I'll put the string. Or is it chars? String. S. %s. That'll do it. And of course return carriage at the end. Then we'll have a comma. And then we'll open that up to that. Cut you out there. Like that. Does that look right? Yes, that looks right. I haven't done that in this program yet, I don't think. So, yeah. I've got a cat crying, oh no. What do I do? What do I do if I get a cat crying? Shh. No, you can't say shoot it. Yeah. Right, so let's go and sort out the cat. Where are we up to? We've been recording for 57 minutes, so I can do with a fresh coffee. And I'll go and sort the cat out. Yeah, I get interruptions like cats. Great, innit, eh? So, everybody, if you're watching right now, hi's all, that's me, right, okay. So, it doesn't look as though anybody's actually going to be talking to me right now, so I'll just pop this up in case there are any viewers out there. I'm just going to go and sort a cat out. Be right back in 7 minutes. Yeah, it was less than 7 minutes, I know. I didn't really want any coffee. I've got the black burpee liquid, so. Let's just finish this piece of code off. that sends text, formatted text to the console. That line there, the text to send, the text with format variable. That is asks open. When it say asks Opengl, asks the graphics card, GFX please, I'm gonna have to do that, GFX card for a string of text, and that is the place on the GFX card that holds the string, because that's what it is, and that's it. Yep, that's what it is. That'll do as a sort of explanation. It's not a very good one, but it's the best I can come up with on the spur of the moment without thinking about it. Now the cat's complaining because I'm not there to cuddle him. So we'll wait for him to calm down, and I'll just look at that, what I've written. Printf sends formatted text to the console. Yes, it does. The text I've put up is formatted text with format variable, format variables, yeah, to send, yeah. Ask GFX card for a string of text as first variable. Well, yeah. %s means string. I'll pop that on there, because that's a good idea, isn't it? Oh, I come up with the best of ideas. Right, so what have we enabled on our graphics card? So when we initialize, we're actually going to get a printout of the Opengl version. That's all that's going to do, and it's going to pop it into the console, which isn't going to bother our program too much. GL enabled, we've got the depth test, blend, and the blend function. So depth test means we can use a depth buffer, which is great, gives us perspective. Yeah, that's alright, so we need that switched on. I'm not really going to talk too much about it, because I can talk a lot about it, unfortunately, for hours and hours and hours. GL enable blend, type of blending to use, switch on. Well, it's not type, it's just use blending. Type of blending to use is next one. That's wrong. Yeah, I can get things wrong. Blend function sets the blending-a-d-d. Ever had a feeling that I got my G's and D's mixed up there? Sets the blending equation, yes. And what is the blending equation we're going to use? The source is we are going to use alpha channel blending. So if we have a colour, we'll have red, green, blue, and an alpha. And the alpha we are going to use as see-through part. Does that make any sense? So as a percentage, so 0 to 1. So at 0.5 you'll have 50% see-throughness. So you can see through things. So 1 minus source alpha. So if you have 80% solid, you have 1 minus see-throughness. 20% see-through. That's not how it works, but I'll go into that if anybody asks. I'm not going to go deep into it too much. I'm just trying to explain what's on screen for people who are new to C++. Because that was the biggest problem I ever had when I started, is nobody ever blooming well explained anything. And below that we are going to have the clear colour for the background on the screen. So those are all percentages, RGB, A. And of course the alpha for the transparency is 1, because we want a solid background. Difficult, huh? No. Nothing difficult going on. Return M has initialized. And it should be true by that stage. I hope it is. Have I actually set it to true at any point? And that's the question that you've got to ask as a programmer. You've got it there, but does it mean you've actually done it? So, has initialized. There's the variable to check. Has initialized equals an initializing. Okay, doesn't look as though we do. Why do we set M has initialized there? We don't need to. We're not checking it. We're not checking it anywhere. We're not setting it anywhere. So why have I got it? We can just do that. And remove that. Yeah, you see, you can remove things. If they're not being used, why have them? Let's be honest. It doesn't make sense. And if something doesn't make sense, then it's not right. Really, is it? So there we go. We now have a better program. Awesome. Awesome sauce. We're actually starting to... I'm streamlining it as I'm looking at it. It's silly. That's what my head does. As soon as I start reading any code, I am already asking questions about that code in my own mind. Like, is X needed? Is Y needed? Why do we need it? Things like that. That's a rather short initialization. Wow. I missed out talking about that line there, didn't I? I think I skipped that line on purpose by accident. Because I got distracted by my return falses, yeah. I'll do this GLS swap interval because I did miss these parts out. I did it on purpose really because I wanted to get that thing in. Swap interval, VSync. If you've got VSync on your graphics card, use 1. If you haven't, use 0. That's not quite true. What we are going to do is change that to 1 later on because we are going to need to switch it on. Put it to 0 to show you an error, or to show you a problem that we would have to manage otherwise. Yeah, I'll think about that one. Do we manage the problem it causes, or do we just switch it to 1? That's a blooming good question. I think that's a talking point. I think that's a talking point for anybody who wants to talk on this channel. It's up to you guys. It's up to you people who view this. And here we go. GLFW, make context current. You cannot write that line there unless you have previously to it written to that line there. What is an OpenGL context? Oh god, here we go. An OpenGL context is literally what a context is. And I looked it up on the internet and it says a context is a frame that surrounds the event and provides resources for its appropriate interpretation. So the context of to put what you are seeing on screen right now into context is the wallpaper of my computer. It's my computer background wallpaper. As you can see, you can't see much of the screen. It is a full picture. And it's a bit bigger than what you can see because this is a damn big monitor. It's rather large. So that puts that into context. The context is that you can't see the whole picture. Do you understand now? But you still know it is a picture. It is the background on my wallpaper on my operating system, which is Windows 10 for this one. So I just put it into context for you, what you were seeing. That's how context works. It means that when you issue an OpenGL command, it goes into the context of whatever this is holding, and it's holding it for M window. So the context of M window is all of these things that we are setting up here, all of these switches that we are switching on. A different window might not have blending, might not have a depth test. Yeah, might not even have a GL version. But there you go. Contexts for the context itself can be shared between different windows, so you only have to write one context. But It is very important and very misunderstood within the OpenGL community how important the OpenGL context really is. And you should always make it current before drawing. If you want to render something to your window, you should make your context current. And this is making it current because it actually creates it as well at the same time. And it makes it current so that we can switch all the switches and use glue in it to put OpenGL functions on it, for instance. That helps. So there we go. Lovely. That probably makes it as clear as mud. So let me just have a small break, and because that's it really. I'm not happy with that being so small. I think we're going to write something in here. Oh, we haven't got mouse and keyboard in, have we? That's why it's so small. Right, okay. Update, clear screen, is open. There you go. Yep. Yep, everything's working. So that program works, even though it wasn't, Visual Studio Code was not able to link it, as I found out on Saturday. There isn't a problem with Visual Studio Code until I come to the linker. And it just won't link stuff, and I can't understand why. I mean, I think they've put something in there to mess it up. It did before. 2, 3, 4 weeks ago, it was linking fine. Saturday, wouldn't link a thing. Same code. Never mind. I'll keep testing it. Hopefully one day they'll really... I think they're just trying to stop people like me from using it instead of Visual Studio 2019. Because if you do, they've realised they don't have a license to claim. If I try and publish what I've just shown you now, from here, I would have to pay them an awful lot of money. And if it was on Visual Studio Code, they don't have a claim to anything. I think it's sunk in that they might have made a mistake somewhere. But it doesn't stop it working on Linux. So I'll just go and do it on Linux. Basically, they are pushing people like me away from Windows 10 and onto Linux for programming. Because so far this week I have spent no money. And I spend on average about £30 a week. Because I need a Mac. If I can get my hands on a Mac, oh, then the kit gloves are off. I will be hammering out Amberskies for the beauty of it. And we will have servers up in no time. But I thought I'd show you how I was doing it anyway. That's what this series is about. I wanted to have a look at the games side of it. So this is more of an exploration, because I can't use it as a final. So I'm going to use it as an exploration instead. I'm going to explore lots. Oh yeah, the window. You might have noticed it's got a colour. I've put a colour on it. It's a very, very dark colour. It's a bit reddish. It's a bit brownish. It's a bit, well, it's actually gold. Very dark gold. Big reason for it. If there is a failure on your graphics card to produce a correct result through your shader, it will often show as a black object on the screen. So if you have a black screen, you can't see it. That's why I put a colour there, for no other reason. It's so that if there are any mess-ups on the graphics card, we can do something about it. Oh yeah, does it close? Yes, it does. And it's thrown an exception. It's triggered a breakpoint. What? Whose breakpoint? Mine? Did I put one in? Probably. Well, that's an interesting one. It's not my breakpoint. Huh? Why does that trigger a breakpoint? Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Microsoft, what are you doing? Oh God. Visual Studio 2019, what are you doing? You're putting breakpoints in. That is wonderful. That is absolutely wonderful. Okay. I have no idea. Continue. There we go. That's better. God, you're so silly. Is it because title isn't a new? It is, isn't it? Okay. What is he trying to tell me? What is it doing? Doesn't like deleting things by the looks of it. There you go. No, it don't like deleting things. Press any key to close this window. Okay, thank you. Options. Automatically close the console when debugging stops. Yes, please. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, that works. Right. Note that up. These two lines cause an assertion failure on exit from debug mode. Wow. The reason is mtitle is a passage or past variable, which means it doesn't belong to us. It belongs here. So thinking glub is passed in, and it's just a static const which gets deleted automatically when it hits that scope end. So that's an automatic delete. I agree with that. So that one I agree with. That's good news. We're doing well. We're doing well. Window. Where's it created? What is it? It's glfw window, window. Okay. We're using it internally, but it's the actual creation of the window, so that gets destroyed by terminate. But we don't get a false return until here. And we can't check for a false return until here because it hasn't been created. We could check for a false return on it, but that just messes the code up. So it might not be instantiated. So if it isn't instantiated, to actually delete it, we would have to instantiate it, because it can. It's possible not to be instantiated. Okay. I understand why the assertions are failing. It's just experience and knowing that things can really mess up badly if you're not careful. Let's have a look and see what we can do. Normally it's because we haven't initialized properly. So we can't do those 2 lines, is the answer. glfw terminate will get rid of M window, and our main program, game.cpp, will actually delete the title for us, so those aren't needed. That's how you find out. Always follow the rules. Always follow the rules. There we are. That's the answer. Interesting, huh? Things you didn't know about C++ in a matchbox. Thank you for that. Thank you for debug. So that's our beautiful, beautiful finished program now. I could stop at this point and just say that's it, but I'm not going to. What shall we do next? What can we do next? We could pull that out and put it into its own program, I suppose. Let's think about this. What would happen if I wanted to put something onto this screen? Well, let's have a look at Sketchpad. Ooh, that's a bit large. How do I get you back to normal? Close. That was rubbish. It's not Sketchpad then. Snip and Sketch, we'll try that. Oh, that's a bit better size so far. Open a file. Let's have a chalkboard. It's nearly looking okay. There we go. Lovely, lovely. So, what are we going to need to put something onto OpenGL? So what we have is this lovely, 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 lovely window. It's OpenGL. I also need one of those pen thingies, don't I? Writing with a mouse. Oh, God. We have 2 times buffers. Right, so we've got 2 times buffers, and what we have then is a graphics card. Producing that. So that's what your graphics card is outputting. Okay. So what do we need to do? We need to create some data. I'm going to do quads. So let's create some data. Any data you want. I'm going to create squares. So that's the first thing we need to do. Then we need to transfer data or exfer data to card. That's that bit. Once we've transferred it to the card, we need to take the card information so we need to note down or take a note where on the card. Yeah, that's a better way of putting it. So where did the data go to? We need to make a note of that. And then we can use that note, or those notes, to render. That's it. That's all you have to do. Clever, huh? So, that's really putting it a bit simple, don't you think? But creating data is, well, easy. We could ask Blender to make us a model. We could ask it to then export it in the format that we can read. We could make our own data completely. Ooh, that sounds nice. Let's do that. Now, where's the middle of the world? It's going to be at 0, 0, 0. It's three-dimensional, so we're going to need an X, Y, and Z. So let's take ourselves an X, Y, and Z. And to that, because it's three-dimensional, I'm going to add a W. There we go. So before we can really go any further, we are going to need shaders, aren't we? There's no way we can do any of this without some kind of program on the graphics card to do it with. Yes, you can write programs on your graphics card. Yeah. And you can program it so that it will handle whatever data you send it, whatever data you have stored. So you might have a little data storage down here, because we're not going to do that much data. Now, this brings another problem with it. When your program finishes, what happens to your graphics card? Absolutely nothing, unless you tell it to. So we need to do a shutdown as well. Need let's see, to clear we have to be careful about this, to clear GF X card on exit on shutdown. Yep, that does that. So that looks like the way forward. And to put some, I'm not doing a triangle. Sorry, peeps. If you want triangles putting on the screen, go watch something on YouTube about how to put triangles on screens. I'm not up for that. Sorry, it's a waste of time. All the stuff that you use to put a triangle on a screen can't be used in a proper program. Proper programs don't work that way. They work more like this. So you create your data, you transfer your data, you note where the data went, you use your notes to do a render, and you must clear all of that data off your graphics card on shutdown. At that point, you can't afford for your program to fail in any way, shape or form. Because you are going to start losing memory everywhere if it does. And that is the main problem you have with programming OpenGL. It's not that it's hard to do, because it isn't. It's just that you need to be able to close things down properly. And if you don't, you're in trouble. You're in big, deep trouble. Because you're not just leaking memory everywhere on the main computer, you're now leaking memory all over your graphics card. So it will be Nightmare City. As long as you remember that. In other words, you can't run any tests until you know that your tests will complete in some way, shape or form. If they are going to fail, they have to fail within your program. So you can then shut down properly. So this is why people go to the extreme to test whether their OpenGL is generating errors or not. So we are going to look directly at that first, obviously. We are going to look into error handling first. We are going to look into the shutdown first. We're going to go back to front, because you have to. You don't really have a choice. If you don't go back to front, then you're wasting your time. Right, grab yourselves a coffee. No, I don't want coffee. I'm quite happy here because I'm snug up next to a really nice warm computer now that's actually not generating that much heat still. Oh, right, okay. So, what is on screen is what is going to be done. Should we save that? Can we save that? Here we go. Top right. Save as. What are we doing today? We are doing C++ game. C++ game. And this is episode 1, isn't it? #1, I call that then. #1. Okay, we'll save that. So you don't go to create data. What we're going to do now is create a shutdown and error checking. So that's what I'm going to do next. So here we go. Tell myself what I'm going to do next. GFX card. Shutdown. And error checks. And we will also need a program plus program GLSL. Okay, so that's where we're at. Yeah, we've got a window. We can use it. Can we put anything on it? No. That's why sticking a triangle on it is dangerous. You go and have a look at all of that and see what their shutdowns are like. Did they clear the graphics card? Did they take the data off the graphics card? Probably not. Because, well, what does it matter for that amount of data? But it's still there on your graphics card. Until you shut your computer off. If they haven't deleted it properly. And I can tell you now, after looking through as many videos as I have, you will start spotting it. And it's the worst way to teach people how to program. So I am now going to teach you how to program. That's the next stage of this. We need to know how to program, first of all. I've already decided we're going to do things back to front. That often occurs in programming because it's easier to program for a solution than it is to program for a problem. Now, if you were to say, oh, right, I can generate a triangle and put it on screen. Well, I can. That's not very hard to do. I can do that in like a page of text. On literally a page of code. But it wouldn't close down properly. And you wouldn't know, would you? And nobody'd know that all that data's still on the graphics card. So it's a program that we use to run that graphics card. So bear that in mind, please. Don't expect me just to throw something on the screen. Right, how to program. Let's get that thing back up. Let's just open up. Chalkboard. There we go. Right. How do you program? The first thing is make a note of what you're about to do, which I've done. Then empty your mind. Make it like that chalkboard. That's how you program. This is what you know. That's how you program. You don't use... It's got nothing to do with the language that you're using. C++, what's that one? Java something? I don't know. Basic, yeah. There's Visual C. There's loads of languages, really, when I think about it. Programming languages, my God. Look it up on the wiki. There's a bazillion of languages. And the way you program in all of those languages is the same. You have your mind, which is blank, because you don't know what you're going to do. And then you have someone come along and say, this is how you program. Yeah, that'll do. That's a nice colour. I don't care. Up in the top right. No, right in the middle. Right in the middle of your mind. You put that. Okay, right in the distance. Far, far away in the distance. You put start point. There. That start point goes to the letter I for input. Very far away in the distance. So far away you can hardly see it. That I goes to a P for process. So far away that it's vague. There's your P. I, P, O. Then we go to the output. There's our output there. Lovely. Looks like a donut. And then that goes to F for finish. Nicely done. And that can just go whiz straight through your mind and out to the side. You don't even have to stop and think about it. SIPOF. Start, input, process, output, finish. Every single program that has ever been written does that. That is every program that has ever been written. Unless it doesn't finish, that is. Interesting. Do I use diagrams and stuff to explain my programs? I can. And I have done. If you go and have a look at the YouTube channel at Amberskies, then yeah, it's tons. I try to put as many graphics in as possible, but I'm not saving this one. All you really need to know is input, process, output. Input, process, output. Input, process, output. Get that in your mind. That's programming. The rest of it should be blank. There is no rest of it. There aren't any languages. It's irrelevant. Programming has nothing to do with the language that you are programming in. It's like speaking has something to do with English. Well, no, it doesn't. It's just a variation on how you communicate verbally. You don't think about the language that you are communicating verbally in, do you? I hope not. What I'm trying to say is, I called this C++ game programming. The C++ I only put on there because I might use that language. Don't have to. In fact, the next thing that I do is in Glsl, which has got nothing to do with C++. Half of the stuff you've just seen today is in OpenGL. It's nothing to do with C++. In fact, hardly anything that you've seen today is in C++. Is that scary yet? I'm just going to cancel out, continue, don't want to do anything with that. Yeah, there you go. So how do you do GLSL? Well, GLSL is one of those little awkward things, I suppose. Oh yeah, you might have noticed I've got this little thing, show all files, clicked on. Better warn you that if I go to game and I right click and I press add, it will say new folder. I am not using filters. If you don't have that clicked, it'll say new filter. I'm not using filters. I want things that are real on my hard drive, thank you. Not things that are imaginary Visual Studio 2019 things. I can't imagine in Visual Studio terms. I like the practicalities. New folder, what should we call it? I know. We'll call it GLSL. Why not? Can do. Finish with the display for now. The display's nowhere near finished. I haven't even put the mouse and keyboard in. So, GLSL, how does that work? It's a completely different language. Yeah, sort of. Not really. Nearly. It's more of a C-type language, I suppose. I mean, OpenGL's written in C, so you'd expect GLSL to be C-like. C++ is written in C, so you'd expect C++ to be C-like. So they're all the same. They're just variations. It's just like in England we have a Scottish accent and Welsh accent and, well, Liverpool accent. And, well, some you can understand, some you can't. It's a bit like Scottish is a bit like Java. Totally understandable, but only half understandable if you know C++. Yeah. It's one of those weird things. Never mind. Did I just call Java people Scottish? Sorry Java people. Didn't mean to do that. Don't worry, I come from Scotland. So I can say it. Nah. I've even got my own tartan. Isn't that nice? Yeah. There's a thought. It's a bit green though, so I don't bother with it. Not a big fan of green. I didn't choose my tartan, they did. Anybody who wants to know, just go to Avium or you can look up my tartan. We've got the tartan centre there. It's that's where I found out that we had one. Rather interesting. I think we did buy some of the material as well, or they sent us it to do the kilts, but we never made the kilts. Am I getting distracted again? I think so, yeah. This is going to be interesting. I've got HLSL. Okay, what am I going to write GLSL in? Code? Formatting? No. ATL? No. Data? Text file? I just want file then. Does Qt have any? No. Graphics? No. Don't even have a... okay. Cancel. Online. GLSL. Okay. I've got it ticked. What does this one do? Right. .vert.frags. Can try it. Oh, cancel. Fine. Yes, I use extensions. See if it does anything. I mean, that's all I'm doing now. See if it actually does anything. Okay, close. Okay, we've now got an extension on GLSL. Or V6 or whatever, I don't know. Twitch SLN. Dunk. What? Yeah? Can you actually put it in? I don't care whether it's deprecated or not. You numpties. Oh, okay. I don't care anymore. Do what you want. Do what you want, Microsoft. I really don't care. Add. Close. No. GLSL. Add. Scope new solution. Didn't add anything here, did it? No. 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 New IAM. Great. Oh. What is this thing on? Nothing. Okay. Fine. Why doesn't this thing do GLSL? Ah, bless. Okay. Name. What should we call this? We are going to call this colour. I'm going to spell it the American way, and we're going to call it .vert and we'll put it in GLSL. So color.vert, add, I've had enough, add new item, I'll call it color, capital C, color.frag. So I'm going to use a vertex and a fragment shader. Don't think I'm going to need any more than that, am I? Doubt it. Let's do a color vert. So hash version, and I'm going to use 330. This is where your GLSL language comes in. You have to compare what OpenGL you're using to your GLSL version, and the first line of each file has to have your GLSL version on it. I'm going to use core. Doesn't come up. Great. So just save that. Hash version, and it's 330 core. So that's those two done. Start on line 5, please. That has to be the first line of each. Don't need game for that. Right, so just the vertex shader. Can I remember how to do them? Layout. Layout location. Okay, so layout space location. Oh, okay. Equals 0. In vec for we'll call it position, semicolon. That looks about right. Yeah, right. So we're going to have a position vec4. Vector 4s are x, y, z, and w. What's the w? Okay, I'll tell you. It's a homogeneous, homogeneous. Yeah, is that okay? Homogeneous coordinate. Does that explain it for you? No. But that's what it is. It's the point in 4 dimensions of which we are going to revolve around, or our world will rotate about at an equidistance rotation. The rotation value we are going to choose is 1, because when you times by 1 or divide by 1, nothing happens. Makes all of our equations very, very simple, or simplistic 3D type equations. What else will we need? We'll need normals, won't we? Yeah, we'll have some of those. Normals. What normals? Hey, Blade, what are you talking about? What normals? Normals are perpendicular to the plane or face of your object. We use them for lighting. So I'll put those in 1. Okay. Can I just do something that, because it just makes it easy to read. In Vec3, please, for those. Yeah, normals just have to be perpendicular to your position vector. Well, not your position vector, just 3 position vectors that make a plane or a triangle. We'll just call them normals. I want them as plural, please, because there is a command called normal or normalize, yeah, the command in Glsl is normalize, isn't it? So yeah, we're safe with normals. Layout. In a location 2. I did call this colour, didn't I? So we better put that in. And that's a Vec 4 because we are using the alpha channels. I did put blending in. So we'll just have colour spelt the American way. Anything else I can think of? Is that all I'm going to need? Is there a fourth one or not? Textures are UV coordinates, so that'll go on the textures vert. We can get away with those 3, I think. Just trying to think if I've got any examples anywhere. I don't normally bother with this kind of thing, but yeah, I might have some examples somewhere. Let's have a look in here. And here. There. Shaders. Here we go. Will you stop it, Muppet? Go on. Go on if you want to. Good boy. Just wants to get on the windowsill, that's all. Grief. Colour, vert. Don't know if I've actually done this one. Okay. What else do we need? We're just going to put a square on screen, aren't we? A 1 meter by 1 meter green square. So that's all I need, isn't it? Well, no, I need a lot more than that. Alright, so let's put... Oh, ow. That was me. Not Muppet that time. Let's put some basics in. We'll put them at 10. So we are going to do a void main. And I'm going to declare main as void again. Just to make sure that it knows that I'm not messing it about. Oh. Okay, we'll finish the brackets there. Wasn't expecting that, sorry. Right, I want to keep this simple, so I'm just going to put GL underscore position equals position. It's already in Vec 4, isn't it? So I can do that. Hello Muppet again. Will you off? Like? Do you want, is it me you're after? Hey? Cats are getting restless. What we're going to do with the normals? Anything? No, I'm not going to do anything. So I will have Vertex Shader normals equals normals. You're wondering, what on earth are you doing, Blades? I'm just making up rubbish. That's what I'm doing. Vertex underscore color equals color. What that means is I'm not doing anything with them at all. And I will have an out vec3 for v underscore normals. Muppet, are you alright, love? You're acting a bit weird. Oh well. So that's that one, and I'll also have an out vec4 for v underscore color semicolon. As you can see, that gets rid of little red squiggly lines. So that's actually the simplest vertex fragment shader I can do. I'm guessing. Basically, all I'm doing is telling the graphics card that the position that we send in is the position I want to use, and the normals and the colours are to be passed through to the fragment shader. So what we do is we copy lines 7 and 8, like that. We put an extra line at the bottom, and we go save. Come on, Muppet. Come on. It's okay. And at 5, I'll just put those two, and we'll bring those in. They must, and I mean must, match. When you're doing shader programming, these variables have to match. The reason I've put V on them is so that I know where they're coming from. You might say, oh, that's a strange idea, you've only got 2 shaders. Really? Yeah. Thanks for pointing that out. Void. I'll have main. We'll tell it it's void again, just to make sure it knows that I'm not messing it about. Lovely. What we're going to do? Anything? Nah, not really. Can't think of anything I want to do. Have I got any Glsl shader notes lying around? Doubt it. Alright, I'm not too bothered about this. And we should really talk about this in depth, and I'm not going to, am I? Oh, simulate cells just come in. Well, sent a message. Doing good, lad. Is there anything you need on UO? I do an Ultimate Online server. I have it running now, if you want to know. It's on, it works. As you can see, simulated Sil is on there. So hi Sil. Shout out to you. Shout out to you, mate. Anything you need on the UO server, or do you want me to switch what's it, that do free on, where we talk to each other? Would that be easier for you? What's it called? Discord, that's the name of the thing. I'll switch Discord on for you. I'll pop myself on the Amberskies side in case you don't want me interfering with your side. You can chat to us if you want, whilst I'm streaming. don't mind. Right, just make sure that's coming through on the headphones. Voice and video. No, it's coming through on the TV. Let's change that. Testing, testing. Yeah, that works. Right. If you want to chat to us live, you can do now. I'm on Discord. There you go. Should have been on Discord from the start. My bad. Oh, if you want to know how to get onto my Ultimate Online server, just pop over to Patreon and look me up.
Hello?
Hello, lad. How's it going? You're breaking up on your doobries. Set your microphone up, mate.
Is that better?
Oh, yes. Hello. Hi. There you are.
Yeah, I'm here. I just thought I'd pop in and show me face, you know.
Oh, don't blame you. How's it going over on the UO? You still got that? Have you put a note down for things I've got to look at on that server? Have you made a note of those things?
Well, it's just the two things so far.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
One second, let me just mute Twitch because I'm hearing you twice after the whatever 8-second delay or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's 4 to 8 seconds delay on Twitch. Sorry, it's a bit awkward.
No, it's fine.
Oh, let me just modify this. My head's hurting. This is the only trouble I'm having with Twitch so far is having to wear these headphones. I don't have to wear them all the time, which is lucky. But if I'm monitoring Discord, I'll have to, I suppose.
Well, yeah.
But otherwise, yeah, it's good. It's quite relaxed. I just switch it on and it works. It's not. I mean, Sunday was a nightmare. Yesterday was a nightmare. It took me 30 minutes to get a stream up on YouTube.
Wow, and this is just instant plug and play job.
Yeah. This was just one click. OBS.
Oh, I knew there had to be a reason why most people prefer Twitch over YouTube, especially for streaming.
It's unbelievably much easier. I mean, I've got a little video preview thing here. I'll show you on screen. See, I've got my little video previews. Says.
I have to wait for the delay, but yeah. Oh yeah, there's your little preview.
Yeah, works quite. Cool. So I can actually watch what's going on stream. Obviously, I have stats and silly things and information things pop up, but it's all automatically pop-ups except for that video preview. Everything's automatically pops up for me. Yeah. So I've actually got through a lot today. I mean, I'm on now, 2 hours 23, and I've done the whole of the introduction to Visual Studio 2019. I've got through the whole of the display programming stuff, and I'm now doing GLSL, which is graphics card programming. You know, it's that much faster to get through everything. It's so relaxing. Oh yeah, and I've got a free house as well. So, are you coming down at all?
Well, not today, but certainly at some point this week, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Any ideas? Because it might be a pizza day then, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'm just feeling like it could be a pizza day.
Well,
yeah. Nice. Might be tomorrow, might be Wednesday. Just depends.
Yeah, okay. Well, it's whenever. 2 o'clock onwards, you can stay as long as you want. Pizza's obviously on the cards. Hey, this is sounding good. This is sounding good. If anybody else out there wants to join us, whenever Sil comes down this week, yeah, let us know and you can have pizza with us. What do you mean you don't know where I live?
Yeah, just the two things on UO so far. I haven't come across anything else yet.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. I'll be able to do that. Have I actually got? I've only got cotton plant. Oh, I haven't even noted it down.
We did the cotton and they're all working fine. I've been around and checked them all.
Right,
they all work perfectly fine.
So, yeah, I've done that.
The cotton and flax thing is done.
Okay, this is what was that place called?
Sanctuary, wasn't it?
Sanctuary.
Yeah, that entrance wasn't working.
Sanctuary entrance. What about the Grove? Have you had a look at that? I'm going to add Blighted Grove then.
Yeah, I haven't not put my nose in there yet.
Okay. What was the other thing then? There was another thing. Was that just the spawns?
Yeah. There's a few spawn issues.
Right. Well, for that one, I'll have to be with you at that time, so
Yeah,
we can do
which are either
those.
there or not there, or too much or too little.
Yeah, spawn mods. Okay. I'll need to be with you for that one. In case it's you that's triggering them. Because I'll have to have a look at your profile at the same time as looking at the spawn's profile to see them.
On the sort of more good side, I've been absolutely hammering that tailoring.
How's it gone?
You do not want to know how much I've gone through.
What kind of hides? Is it just normal hides?
No, just cloth.
Oh, sorry, cloth. Yeah.
But it's also the number of tailoring kits I've been through.
Oh wow, yeah, I can imagine. They only go about 50 to 100, don't they? Tries.
Yeah, the really good ones up to 100. I think about 150.
Wow, that is high for a tailoring item.
But bear in mind, okay, that of my successes, I put some bandages in your box.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Did I put 1,000, maybe 2,000 in there?
But that's literally just your scraps and leftovers, isn't it?
Yeah, that accounts for 2,000 attempts. Divide 2,000 by by the number of tailoring kits, and I also have another 3,177 bandages that I haven't transferred over yet.
Store them up. Do you want me to make you some more chests?
I'm gonna bloody need them.
Oh, that is awesome. That is awesome. Oh, let me just show people on stream how to get to Patreon. Oh god, it's done that stupid thing where it's gone to full screen. Come back to me, Google. Godfathers, what is wrong with Windows 10? Why can't it just keep a window at the same size every time? I don't know. So all you do is you go to YouTube. So let's go to YouTube. This will probably get this video removed. Never mind.
Probably.
Okay. YouTube, you would search. The easiest way of doing it is, I would say, Amberskies, C++. I think gets to me straight away, does it? Oh, it gets to Cherno. Where's me? I would have thought I would have marked or ranked on that. No. Amberskies might help.
I was about to say you want to put Ambers.
Yeah, I am. Top of the league. I'm top of the league at C++. I wonder why.
Slight question though. Why is your Twitch not named the same?
Because I couldn't do it.
Okay, fair enough.
It wanted a name and it won't let me have Amberskies. So I just put Fraser Sharp Blades. Sorry, Fraser Blade Sharp in. Yeah. But Patreon is here. It's up on the top right.
Enough, when I went on to Twitch, I mean, because how else would I have found you? I'd simply put in Amberskies and it came up as Fraser Blade Sharp. I thought, oh, there can only be one of them.
Yeah, there's only one of them. It comes with disaster, usually in parentheses afterwards. But yeah, I've got a web page as well. I can't keep YouTube up on stream, obviously. I'll just nip over to the web page and leave that there. That's at www.amberskies.org.uk. Advert. Yeah, I don't mind.
It feels like a QVC advert. I'm just waiting for the. But wait, there's more.
Yeah, come on. That's a loud click.
Oh yes, there's your Yeah, I haven't checked Blighted Grove yet. I'm still working my way around the map, as it were.
Well, I couldn't find the entranceway. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I didn't realise it was a dungeon.
Well, some of them require things to get into. Not all of them are free entrances.
That's what I was thinking with that one.
You know, for example, to get in wind, you have a majory requirement.
Yeah.
I think for one of them, there is an object requirement. You use an object to clear the vines outside that sort of open the door in essence.
That will be Blighted Grove, because it looked like a lot of vines. It looked like a doorway, but with like green strands coming down. It was quite weird. Quite a weird thing.
The entrance requires a bone machete.
Ah.
And bone machetes are crafted by blacksmiths.
Oh, that's
Guild
handy.
45.
Really?
The requirement is 6 bones and 20 ingots.
Oh, so that's what all the bones are for.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's all right.
Bones are used for several things. Obviously, they're used for bone armor. But bones are also a reagent as well for something.
Ah. So when it says bones, does it mean the ones that are dropped off skeletons, or does it mean the reagent?
They're one and the same now, and I don't think skeletons drop them anymore. I think
ghouls do.
No, ghouls and skeletons drop body parts, like legs, torsos, that kind of thing.
That makes more sense. I need
bones you find on things like giant serpents.
Oh, groovy, groovy. Right, so that's...
I know that answer because I required, when I was messing around with the inscription thing, I was just looking at a few of the other spells, and I think one of them, can't remember where it was from, but one of them actually required a bone as a reagent.
Yeah.
So they've obviously made it fairly easy to find.
Alright. That's interesting.
Yeah, they also come off like bone piles as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, bone piles. So single bones. There's 3 different types of bone piles, which contain 10 each and 15 for the big ones. Something called a bone shard for 2 bones. I think everything that isn't just linked as a bone, but is like a pile of bones, I think you have to use scissors or a sharp weapon on it or something to break it into individual bones.
Yeah, yeah.
So pelvises, rib cages, spines, that kind of stuff.
Weird, because I've seen that stuff lying or dropping, but I never realised I was supposed to pick it up.
No, I didn't either. I just thought it was one of them pieces of crap that was only used in bone armor.
Yeah.
But apparently not. Yeah, dropped by giant serpents, Suki wolves, ant lions, that kind of behavior. I guess anything that can swallow you whole.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, you learn something new every day, eh?
Indeed, yeah. I was just trying to figure out a way of getting rid of normals, but I can't. Should I be using them? Yeah. I don't care. How does that program look on your screen? Is that look understandable? It's just that I'm not using the normals, and it's going to whinge at me that I'm not using the normals, isn't it?
I have absolutely no idea. All I see is it says version 330 core, Invector 3v normals, Invector 4v color, void main void, and GL frag color equals v color.
Yeah.
Which I'm assuming means whatever object you want is going to be that color of green.
Well, yeah. In short, yeah. Basically, I mean, I can make this anything I want. I don't even have to bring those in. I really am. I'll leave it. We'll have that. We'll have that. I mean, I haven't put any notes or anything on it, so it doesn't mean anything yet. Yeah, I got this massive game that does something. Yeah.
When you
It
say does
compiles.
something, it does what?
It does this. Oh, it's compiling it now. Oh God, I'm having it done. Well, I've finished my shaders. I don't care. Does that? Isn't that ace? Don't you think that's great?
Thinking Club game series. It's a blank screen.
Yeah. Is it coloured to you? Can you just tell that it's coloured?
It looks black to me.
Hmm.
Just black. A particularly dark black, granted, but black nonetheless.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay. It's supposed to be a deep red, but hey ho.
Oh, well, it could be, but it's coming up as black on my screen. But it looks like a different shade of black. It could be so deep red that it's looking black.
It is. It is minusculely red. In fact, I can tell you how minusculely red it is because I've got it on display, haven't I?
Mhm. But that's what I mean. It looked different from the other black window.
Well, those are your percentages there. RGB, red, green, blue, out of 1. So it's...
Oh, yeah, you're way down there.
9.5% red, 3.8%, 1.2%. So yeah, it's right down on the percentages. I think I should make them lower, but as you say, it looks black anyway, doesn't it?
I mean, you should be able to see on your preview anyway.
I can, but it's a clear preview on this monitor. You know how big this monitor is, don't you?
Well,
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bit clear.
It's a frigging wall.
It takes up my whole wall. Can't believe I got it for
the
free.
brightness turned quite down on this laptop, so...
Yeah, that's alright. Can't believe they gave
But
me this
it looks a different kind of black anyway.
Excellent, that's good news.
We'll call it the red black.
Yeah. Shaders. Do you know anything about shaders? Look, we got some.
I'm going to go with no.
Look, big one there. I need that one. That one is useful. How do I get split screen on this? You're useful. I want you on split screen. There, please. Thank you. Lovely.
Oh, thank God for that. For a second I thought you were going to ask me. If I have a clue.
I haven't used Visual Studio in so goddamn long. It's untrue. Ever since I started programming Amberskies, I mean, I've got all of the programming except for the game aspects now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this as the game aspects programming series, really, and it'll turn into a little game. And then what I'm going to do is slap a server on it.
You mean it's gone from a 9% red screen to eventually a program?
Yeah. It's going to be a world. I'll design it on the UO side first, but I don't know if I can get the smoothness of movement. I think I can. I can get better lighting, obviously. UO hasn't got any. So it'll look better, but it'll be very, very simple models. I haven't started on models yet. Are you any good at 3D models?
Just consider the question for a minute, and then consider me, and then think about the answer.
You're fantastic at languages, yet you can't program. What is wrong with you? Why don't you go and do one of my series on YouTube? Do the very first one that does Amber SDK, which explains that, or follow this one and learn it. You're fantastic with languages. You really are.
Yeah, languages, writing, but programming is not really my forte.
Well, I've just told everybody how to program. If you scroll back and look for a blank screen, just taught everybody how to program. All you got to do is empty your head and have nothing in it. It's simple. No, there is nothing to programming. There is no secret to it, and everybody thinks it's difficult, and it isn't. It's just repeating the same thing over and over again, just like you do in normal vocabulary. You repeat a lot of words over and over again when you're talking to people. And you start speaking in a certain way. So you start programming in a certain way.
Yourself, I'm smooth and articulate.
I'd put myself to articulate and smooth within programming now. But not in English.
I'm more articulate and smooth with the ladies. Oh yeah.
Oh right. I won't tell my lady that.
Yeah, it's a good job your lady's away for the week.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? I can get away with absolutely anything as long as she's not watching. Yeah, as long as you put me on a phone, I'll be safe. I'll be safe.
Kill myself laughing if she was watching this on the stream on a tablet or something.
I think I'd have a phone call. I got my phone plugged in front of me. I think it'd be flashing on and off by now. Oh dear. I'm just wondering what to do with these couple of little programs I've just made.
Well, I assumed that you had some kind of plan for it.
Yeah. We could set them up on the graphics card. That'd be a good idea. How hard is it to set them up on the graphics card? Not very hard. I'll do that. Can use the same place, can't I? Can use. It doesn't matter if it's called Glsl or not. That's shaders. All right. We'll add. Not a new folder. New item. New item. Here we go. Good God. Code. Header file, please. Woo. Got one. I love this part of programming. It's dead relaxing. Because, really, there isn't much to do. There we go. Oh, it's put it on that side. Silly me. Don't want it on that side, I want it on this side. You dodo. How can I get things so wrong? Oh, he's put Pragma once in for me. Oh, that's sweet. Copy those lines. Copy. Shaders. I don't want you there, mate. I'll have that there. There we go. That's better. What will I need? Anything?
You're asking the wrong person still.
Shaders, strings, aren't they? Yeah, better have those then. We'll include strings, because I know that it's going to include strings. How do you write programs? God knows. Strings. That's allowed, isn't it? Yeah. Got one there. How easy can it get? Let's see. I will need to protect it. So we'll have a namespace. Don't want to put it in global, so I'll put it in game. That'll do that, and I will double protect it. So I don't mix things up in game. We'll call this GLSL. GLSL as the directory it's in, because that's how I do it. I can write anything I want now, can't I? Yay! I can actually write anything I want. I can write an absolute load of rubbish and tell the world a load of garbage, but I'm not going to do that because I want it to work. So how far up on this? What's your percentage in Dubry?
Redefine Dubry.
Cloth.
Oh, in tailoring?
Yeah.
Right before I came to find you on Twitch, I hit the 80%.
Wow. That
So
is
that's
really high.
pretty much 2 solid days.
Yeah. I mean, it took me a week plus to get my main character up to like 80% on fighting crimes. 2 days. Jesus. It's like 2 weeks.
Full
2
days,
weeks. 2 weeks of play completed in 2 days. Wow. I've got black bubbly burpee liquid.
Well, I needed the 80% because the 80% was the threshold for the next set of leather up, which I can now use.
Is that horned? Horned leather.
That's a really good question. And now that you ask me, it's not right in front of me, but yeah. Oh no, is it spined? It's spined leather. It's whatever the next one up is.
Spine sounds about right, yeah.
No, spined is the blue one. Yeah, horned leather, yeah.
Horned leather, yeah. That's dropped by...
Drops off things like unicorns, drakes, wyverns, that kind of business.
Right, so I need to take a cutting blade to my next Drake conquest. Okay, I'll do it.
Well, actually,
I'll
not really,
that.
because if you remember when we were walloping around killing stuff like unicorns and key rin things, we actually collected over 300.
Oh, right. Did we?
Yes, we did.
Good grief.
You know when we were doing the Bedlam door opening quest?
Yeah.
And we ended up killing tons of them unicorns and key rin. Yeah, well, every single one of them dropped horned leather. And we collected it, if you recall, because it wouldn't stack the damn stuff.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God. It's actually quite interesting that it takes 2 days to get to 80%. I would have expected a lot longer, to be quite honest with you, the way it's set. So you've proven to me that it can be done.
Agonizingly slow.
Yeah, well, it might feel that way, but trust me, the way that the rules are set on that, it's very, very fast. That is exceptionally fast. I didn't realise it was able to be done, to be quite honest with you. I didn't think it would work that way, but it has done, obviously. I'm really impressed.
God help me getting to 90 and 99 though. Jesus. Not looking forward to that.
Yeah. Oh, God, 90 plus is just dead slow. I mean, weeks of dead slow. I haven't got anything up to 100 yet. And how long have I been playing? Over a month? I'm getting close. I haven't got a GM yet.
Yeah, I'm not doing too bad. Because I've been using the barding stuff quite frequently.
Yeah.
My musicianship is up at 96.3.
Wow.
Peacemaking's lagging behind at 90.7. But I have been piecing some pretty damn big critters.
Indeed.
You know, even up at like the high 80s, if you're piecing that white worm, you get gains.
Yeah.
Because it's almost out of reach, kind of.
Well.
What is the barding difficulty of that white worm? White worm. Yeah, barding difficulty is 100.3 to 107. So I was like 15 points shy at the time that we were trying to calm it, which is why it was fairly resistant.
Oh dear. Yes.
Because you have to remember, if you have equal barding, that only gives you a 50-50 chance. So being 15 points shy, I think I was only maybe a third chance to calm it.
Yeah, indeedy.
You can tell by the glorious struggle.
For any viewers who want to know, we had a glorious struggle getting a great. What was it? It wasn't a great. It was a white or worm or dragon basically, and that kept breathing on us, or me in particular. We did that last Friday.
Buried me about 50 times.
Yeah. So if you go over to my YouTube stream and you do look up the C++, pop in on that last stream for Ultimate Online. You'll have a good laugh at us trying to do it. How many times did I die?
Not half as many as I did. Every time I got up, it took one look at me and went,
Yeah, it just went yum yum nom nom. Couldn't believe that we got through it without losing anything. Well, except for points on
apart from
fame.
me.
Yeah.
I was lost several times.
That was so funny. That really was so funny. Quite enjoyed it.
I think I read Ned quite a few times.
Yeah.
he suffered the most.
I think Ned was a bit of a failure, really. He was a bit. He does it every time though, doesn't he? Every time I play and I ride Ned into battle, the bugger dies. It's unbelievable. Ned, the death horse.
God, he's bonded is all I can say.
He's followed me around dead more times than I can remember. Oh God. How am I going to explain vector? Oh God, I don't know. Right. I've got to explain vector to the public. I'll do that in a minute. So yeah, it was really good fun.
Are you planning on doing that?
Have you watched the Sunday stream yet on naval action?
I haven't had a chance yet, no.
I got sunk.
Why, is something good happen?
Yeah, I got sunk.
You got sunk.
Yeah, first encounter, wallop, sunk. I don't know if it was the first encounter, but oh my God, it was definitely a watery grave, but funny as hell. Because I really didn't batter an eyelid. I thought, stuff it, I'm going to have a go at this guy. And then I really made a noob mistake. And if you watch it, you'll think, you idiot, Blades, what a noob. And yeah, it's just like, I deserve to die. I thought, well, okay, fine. So I went back and I got myself a pickle. So at the moment, yeah, Blades in a pickle. Awesome
like that
stuff.
Pickle, though. It's so maneuverable. It's the most ridiculous thing in the world.
It's a fun ship to play, because because it's such a noob character. I mean, it's only like 5-6 weeks old. I mean, 6 plays, 6 times 2 hours, 12 hours old or something. It's such a young character that it doesn't have anything, and it's so fantastic to play that way.
Yeah, but it makes it throw-aroundable. You know, you don't have to worry about many things.
I don't really give a dingoes in that game. I think it's fantastic, and everybody's screaming on chat like, "Oh no, there's all these people over here. Oh, nobody's interested in killing them." And I'm thinking, I'm in the Bahamas getting the suntan stuff here. You know? It's so funny, absolutely so funny. So it's a standard library.
Yeah, there's some very angry people, aren't there?
They can be, yeah. They don't like losing the ships for some reason, and I don't understand why.
No, I quite enjoyed my large flagship. I'd be probably a little miffed if I had to keep rebuilding them regularly.
Oh, that would be a nightmare, losing stuff like that in that game. I just wouldn't sail it, I don't think. It's a bit awkward, that game, because you lose your ship, literally. And it's how much do you value your ship, and how much do you want to lose? You know, it's a bit harsh. I lost to a Surprise, and I was using a Mercury. You figure that out. Yeah. Mercury, you know, 18, yeah. What?
It's essentially balsa wood.
Yeah, 17, yeah, built in 1790, 1785, was it? Against the Surprise, which was built quite a bit later, in like 1805 or so. A bigger ship. In fact, it's a frigate. Surprise is your very early frigate. In fact, it's one of the first frigates that was made. It's French, isn't it? Yeah, it's French.
It also outguns the Mercury quite considerably.
I noticed that on the first volley.
Broadside.
Yeah, our first broadside to broadside was at about 2 feet.
Ooh, yeah. I can imagine that went pretty painfully. In fact, his shot probably came to the other side of your ship.
Basically, yeah. I think he shot right through me.
Yeah.
4.
Plus, you have about 6 guns per side, and he's probably got 20.
I had 10 little 6-pounders, where he has about, what, 12, 9, 10-pounders, 12-pounders. So he was like more, a couple of guns more, and like double the size of Cannonball. And I didn't have any armor. It was like, oh, nasty. It was really nasty. But fun. Luckily, I didn't lose much because I didn't have anything much to lose. So I was quite happy.
If you're turning around in a Mercury and a Pickle like that, it's instantly replaceable.
Yeah. Absolutely. There we go. I've worked it out. I've worked out the words that I wanted to put on screen. How long is it going to take me to write this? If I'm distracted, it's going to take me ages. So I'm going to go and make a brew.
I don't blame you.
And then I want to get on with this. I want to write at least some of the GLSL stuff. It's only 4. It'll be 4 methods, 4 functions, I think I'm going to use. We'll need a compiler, a loader, a creator. Oh no, we're going to need a compiler, a check compiler. It's the errors that I need to do first. I need the error checking first. Okay, I can do that. OpenGL does that for me. You won't believe how many languages I can program in. My last count, the last count, I can do over 102 different programming languages. That is stupid. I was trying to find a programming language on YouTube that I didn't know, and I found one at long last. And then I watched a video on it, and now I know how to program it instantly. It was like, oh my god. An operating system programming language called Rust. It's quite new, and it's beautiful. I might do some Rust. We've got it on Visual Studio 2019 now, Rust programming. So if at the end of this I'm bored and I've got my game going and it's all working nicely, I'll go and write the operating system for it.
Excellent.
Oh, watch this screen. This is funny. Oh my god, because I've got Visual Studio 2019, right? Let me just go down to it.
I'll watch it 8 seconds after it happens, but yeah.
Yeah. Don't worry about that. Just watch the screen. Where is it? Developer command. Here we go. Developer command prompt. With Visual Studio 2019, you get this developer command prompt, right? I'll just go to D:, so it hasn't got all that mess all over the screen. Okay, so I'll just clear screen. See if I can get a bit more screen on here. Okay. Right. How much is Windows 10? As a rough guess.
Cost?
Yeah, how much it cost to buy Windows 10? It's incorporated into the cost of every PC that's built.
I'm assuming if you want the professional version, you're probably looking about 200 quid.
Right, okay.
I reckon you could get the base for maybe 80.
Right, okay. How much does it cost for Visual Studio 2019 Professional?
Lots.
Yeah, okay. What are you buying?
Well, programs, obviously.
Yeah, do you want to see them? Do you want to see what you're buying? Do you want me to show you on screen right now what you're buying?
Yeah, show me. I'm all the...
This is all you're buying. Okay? It starts with that command there. This is your operating system. Windows 10. This is your operating system. Look, it's all here. Copy, date, delete, directory. It's all here. Exit, erase, This is it. This is what you are paying hundreds of pounds for.
Yep.
I could have written that in C in an afternoon.
Oh, I imagine there's a little more to it.
No, there isn't. That, believe it or not, is so old that if you go on the internet and download Microsoft DOS version 6, actually, look it up on the dates when that was released. It was pre-1995. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah, because we were using DOS 3.1 in about 92, 93, I think.
That's right. And if you had typed in the same thing, you would have everything that's on my screen except for about 5 things.
Mm-hmm.
That is what you've been paying for the last 25 years, people. And I've just put that out on the stream. Yes, we've been had. Isn't that amazing? That's your operating system. And you wonder why I don't want to pay for Visual Studios to make it professional. Because what you're buying is a couple of commands which I can get for free. In fact, they give them you for free if you download their other little piece. They actually give you them everything for free. And I think, then you want me to pay for it after you've given it for me for free? You idiots. You bloody idiots. No. But the problem is you're not actually purchasing Visual Studios 2019. You're purchasing a license to be able to publish your programs. And that's the problem. That's the big problem. So after that rant, that was me.
Yeah, go and...
that was as harsh as my rants get. I'm going to go and grab a cup of coffee. So I'll be right back in about 7 minutes or so.
I'm going to go do a couple of other things, so I will catch you later on.
Yeah, thanks for popping in. Makes it more enjoyable. Makes my afternoon more enjoyable. Thanks, mate. I'll catch you later. All right.
All right, catch you later, buddy.
Take care. Oh, it's lovely and warm now in here. Oh, that's awesome. It's lovely and warm. Lovely. Yeah, I'm back. Okay. I've got these over here. Yeah. Can we move that? Yeah, we can. Right. That's a bit better. Just move that right over. Right, that's lovely. That's lovely. Okay. Let's get this so. Get us a keyboard. Keyboard. Hey, keyboard. Over here, mate. On the head. And a big shout out to my mate Sil. Thank you for popping by. That was awesome. Awesome sauce. Well, it proves to me that my stream can be found. Interesting. What can we put in here? Let's declare. Let's declare something that will do then. We can do a check for errors. For when we compile our shaders, and that's GLSL. And OpenGL. And thing is, OpenGL, because I need OpenGL, well, OpenGL is provided to us by Windows 3D. So I need a Windows 3D in here. Remember I was talking about context? That's better. Well, that's why I want Windows 3D in here, because it's got the OpenGL bit that we might need somehow. I think we might need. Yes, I think we might need them. I've included the I/O stream for input-output, and I've included strings, obviously, for text. Vectors are arrays without an end, basically. So if you know what an array is just a list of items. That's an easiest way of putting it. If you use an array, you would normally use it with a set value of how big or how many items can be placed in an array or list. So we don't know how many items we're going to have, so we're going to have just vectors instead. I prefer vectors, to be honest with you. So to check an error, what do we need to do? Well, right, we can, how can we do it? We don't need to return anything that I can think of. So we'll call it check compile error. And we will declare that we will be using an unsigned integer. In other words, no plus or minus, just a number, and it'll have an ID. That's going to be the ideal ID of the thing we are checking. We'll have a flag as well, I think. Unsigned int flag. That's going to tell us whether we are checking a shader or a program. That flag. No, it's not. ID and flag. God, I can't even remember what the half of the things. This is a problem with having an empty mind. Let's have a look. What does flag do? Where are my notes on GLSL? can't even remember what I use it for. Do I use it for anything? Do I use a flag? Yes, I do. That's just going to be an Opengl enumeration flag. So that's going to be something like GL underscore Vertex underscore shader, or GL underscore fragment underscore shader. It's going to be something like that. That's what the flag's going to be. Yeah, I am going to need that, so we'll have that. What else can I use? I can also use, whether it's a program or whether it's just part of a shader or a shader. So we can have that. So I'll put that in as well. Bool. Here we go with anything else. We can take in an error message, I think, as well. If it does come up as an error, we can send the error message out from here, can't we? So yeah, that will be a const. Standard string. That's from the standard library storage class for text. Standard string. And what should we call it? Error message. So I'll take the address of the error message. Yeah. AGE. Yeah, that'll do. Is that looking good? Yeah, that looks fine. Absolutely fine. So let's start with that. Glsl, add new item. It's going to be a CPP file, please. CPP files are compiled, header files are not. Bear that in mind. Header files are instructions, declarations, and things like that. You can put quite a lot of things in header files. In fact, you can put your whole program in header files if you want to. But if you want it compiling properly, you usually split them up into a CPP compilation file. And it's called shaders. There we go. Does actually matter at some points. Yeah, happy with that. We'll have it. Line 2, hash include. And we will include our shaders.h. There we go. That'll do. Namespace it up with game. And the other namespace that we're using in this case is GLSL. GLSL, I believe. There we go. So, shaders.h looks like that. Copy to you. There we go. That looks better. Let's save this out now, can't we? We've got something we can do. And you see it's got a green squiggly line on it. And it comes up with this little icon. Create definition. This is a declaration, obviously. This is that we're declaring that we're going to do this. So I think we can create the definition. There you go. It's done. Save that out. I'm not going to write it in here. Thank you. Here it is. Does it for us? Ah, here we go. It's compiler time. Let's do it. Let's see what we can do. Let's try doing it properly for starters. That might help. Alright, so it's compiler error checking time. The first thing we want to do is set up a tracking variable. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Int. Doesn't matter. Int success equals 0. I don't like that. I can use a bool, I suppose. It really won't matter, I don't think. Okay. Let's track if success has occurred with an initial value equal to 0. So what we're going to define as a success? Well, we're going to leave that to OpenGL, I think. I think that's going to be the best way of doing this. I don't want to tinker with what they are doing, just with what I'm doing. So I'm going to leave that to them. Just put it as an initial value of 0 because it seems like a sensible initial value to have. Its initial value is irrelevant. Irrelevant. I don't know. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's right. That's how we spell it. Good. May as well check. Right, we need the character buffer. Let's use a character buffer, or set one up for this string business. Yeah. Okay. We'll set a buffer up that we'll call error, in case there is one. This will be an array, so we have to define its size. I'm just going to have 1024. Arrays are set up like that, with a semicolon at the end. And I'm just going to pop 0 in. There you go. I think that's the best way of doing it. So it is a character buffer. As a 1K block of memory, which it exactly says, and that is initialize the buffer to 0. It doesn't really, again, it's irrelevant. It's just a value that 0 is a good one to use usually in programming. So we've now got two variables. One's called success, one's called error. Sensibly named, I hope. Right. Now we're going to have to start using the stuff that's passed in. Because the first thing we need to know is if this is a program or if this is just a shader that we are checking. Yeah, because we have to compile the shaders and compile the shaders into a program. You'll see. If is program. So we'll pass that in here. So we're going to use it. There we go. How shall we use this? We have an Opengl thingy for this, I think. So we'll pop that in there. That is check if data refers to a check if data refers to a program. Because it might just refer to a shader. So that's what that does. Which means we have a GL. And it will be get program. And it'll be something or other. It's not information. No. Ah, we can use that one. Yeah, we can. That's good news. We'll use that one. IV. What does that do? I'll tell you what that does. I hope. So what this does is gets the integer vector. How do we explain that? The integer vector, yeah. It's information, isn't it, really, vector? Hard to say how this really works. Let's find out, shall we? I know what it does because of the way it's used, but that isn't really good enough for me. So let's put it in. GL get program. And I want IV, please. There we go, Cronus, please. Thank you. Alright, specifies a program object to be queried. Return a parameter from a program object. Yeah, I know about that. Description. Get program IV returns in params the value of a parameter for a specific program object. The following parameters are defined. Okay. I'll take you. There we go. Doesn't make much sense, does it? What it's doing is allowing us access to graphics card program parameters. And we want to look at the success or failure of our program. And it's not wide enough now. Damn it. There we go. That's better. So the parameters that we can look at, ID, flag, and success. That's where success comes in. There we go. Why is that not right? So, and I wonder if does it need to be a bool? I didn't look at the commas, did I? GL int star parameter. That's an address. Thank you. I should look at that, really. That was bad of me, sorry. I should always look at what it says. For the information that it gives you, which is usually very helpful, or at least it tries to be. Right, so this part is the Opengl Identifier for the program that we are looking at. Yeah, okay. Up with that. Okay, what can we tell you what this is? We are going to use the given, by given, there we go. I haven't put it in here. The word given I use to mean here. Anything between these brackets I call given. So use the given, yeah, Opengl Enumeration. You'll get used to Opengl enumerations later. Flag, yeah. An Opengl enumeration looks something like GL underscore, whoops, do it properly, GL underscore, and there is a vertex one, I think. There we go. There's GL, there's tons of them, absolutely tons of them. So, like, we did it in Dewberry, didn't we? Yeah, but not there. There. These are enumerations. As you can see, they just mean numbers. To enumerate a word means you are changing the word into a number. So it's just so we can read numbers as words. See, there's another one here. And the number for that is OX, which is hexadecimal 22002. Hexadecimal 100. Hexadecimal 4000. So these are all done for us. View code? No. Okay. Can't do that. Whoa. Come back here. Peak definition. There you go. See, hash define. All of these numbers. So all of these, this is what we're going to call things. This is what we're going to, and this is the actual number that it represents. And these are all places on your graphics card. Places that you can switch on and off. So you can switch all of these things on and off. Luminance, intensities, RGBs. Yeah, there's tons of those. Textures, proxies, indexing, colors. Oh god, and here's actually some functions that you get from Opengl. So that's how we get our Opengl functions. These GL API entry for that function, which means that function is on your graphics card somewhere. And it'll hold an address. That will then hold an address. Does it give us one? No, it's a standard call. That stands for. What's that one there? That's the import. So we're importing from a standard call that. That's what that means. Lovely. That's very technical C++, which we're not going to do. Much. Okay, I don't need this space anymore, do I? And I haven't told you what success is, have I? Because we sent it the address. So this is the storage address for the result of what we've asked for. So that is going to be returns the value of a given program of type such and such, the result or the last result for that program. And if that is an error, yeah, we need to know. If it isn't a program, it's a shader. We already know that. We're only going to be testing programs and shaders, or shader programs and shaders anyway. But it is different to do a shader, so we need the same thing exactly again, except this time it's GL get shader IV, not info log, IV, because all we're checking for is success. We're not checking for the info log at this point. There's no point. You don't need to. So that goes like that. And I bet you can guess what goes in here. So yeah, we're just repeating it. There you go. Damn it. Don't do that. So this is, the first one refers to a program, this one doesn't, okay? This one is returns, you use exactly the same kind of language that it does before, returns the value of a parameter, success in this case, so that's what we're doing, for vertex and fragment shaders, because that's all we're using at the moment. We're not using anything else. It will do other shaders as well. It'll do any shader, really. And there's lots of them. Yeah, go on, we'll do this again. There we go, because there are two different ones. The flag is the same. And of course, that is the same. The result can be success or failure. Obviously, well, not obviously, but it could be something completely different. But what we're going to be testing for is failure. Because that's what it says here, check compile error. I think it gives us a clue to what we're doing. Alright, so that's your first two instructions that we're going to do. So now we know if the compiler succeeded or failed. God, C++ compiler does exactly the same. It's called GDB, is the application that they use usually. DB standing for debugger. G, God knows what that stands for. So what are we going to do? We're going to do if what we're checking now, success, is equal to OpenGL's false. Tell me how it's false. Yes, it does. It's there. Okay. If. This is where we have to keep doing ifs. I don't like this idea at all. Is program again. I mean, it saves you writing this twice. One for programs and one for shaders, I suppose. But, I don't know if it saves you any work or if it's faster or not. It's an interesting thought, isn't it? Separate it all out, is it faster? Probably. No, just done is that one. Now we need that info log. We need that one there. And that's one of them. Semicolon at the end of each one. Whoops. What we're going to start with here. So it's going to be ID. So we know which ID it is. Comma. So it's program. And then it wants the buffer size. Well, we know the buffer size. It's there, isn't it? 1024. Well, we can't give it 1024 because it's actually 1023. So we'll use a size off function. 1024, the last place in any array is where it places the end of array marker. So 1024 is not accessible by us. 1023 is. So it's 0 to 1023 equals 1024 block of memory. Yeah, weird but true. Remember, computers start at 0, not 1. When you're thinking about things like that. So I'll just pop that in. What do you need next? The length. Well, all of it, please. So you don't need anything from me to know that. And the info log as a star. That's just error. It's already a star. It's an array. Arrays are pointers. Did you not know? That there is exactly the same as saying char star error. So char star error is the same as saying char error open brackets. But that doesn't give you a set length. So it's not an array, it's just a position in, it's just an address in memory. But with an array, it'll give you a block of memory. But both those two instructions are how it works. You just don't put the star at the front of that. It does it for you. Because it's representing a block of memory, it automatically puts that as a star or an address. It's actually the address of 0. So that is star 0. It's that. So you can't do it, obviously, like that, because you don't need the star. But, yeah. Just an interesting thought. People don't realise that those are actually pointers. And even when you're using Java, they are pointers. It's just that Java doesn't tell you either. So anybody who's been using arrays knows how to use pointers. And it's why I don't need the ampersand sign in front of it. Success. I didn't put success as a pointer. I could have done. And if I had done, I just put success in there. But as I didn't, I have to put the ampersand sign in, because it wants the address. That is the address, so it gets the address. Nice, isn't it? We're poking out a little bit here, aren't we? Yeah, we are. Never mind. So, program info log. Yeah. It's exactly what it says. There we go, that's repeated. Size of error gives the size of the array in bytes. There we go, and Muppet's off. There we go, Muppet, there you go. He's warm enough, obviously. He's warmed up on me. Thank you. Oh, I can do my shoulders now. Null pointer. Why a null pointer? Because it just take the full length. It knows what the length is itself. It knows it's the full length, and we don't want to restrict it to a certain length. What we do, we could put like 1024 in there and get 1024 bytes back, but we don't really need that much because the size of the error won't be that big. Or shouldn't be that big. So it should only be a few bytes long, what the error is. And that's the address of the error buffer. Yep, it's that easy, folks. And else we are going to do exactly the same as we did last time, which is GL get shader. There it is. Info log. So we're just doing the same but for the shader. So it's ID, comma, size of, and that's error, comma, length, null pointer, because we don't care, and info log is error. So we're just using the same variables, really. Can we get out of this now, please? Thank you. Semicolon at the end. Yeah, that's lovely. So the first one. It's the same message. Shader. The second one. Same message. Or should I say the same notes? Oh, I've just done the wrong one, haven't I? Never mind. Yeah, just a bit of copying to do. Oh god, don't do that. And null pointer. And the address of the error buffer. Lovely. Everything's noted. You started wondering why I'm doing this yet? Noting everything? Is it to make it look nice? Or is it to help people out? Is success equal? Oh, we haven't put anything on this one yet. Check. Yep. Check. Compilation has failed. There you go. That's that one done. Anything I've missed? No, I'm quite happy about that, actually. That looks about right. Fantastic. It's coming out nicely. There we go. So what do we want to do now? Which one do we want to be in? I think we can carry this false on, can't we? Yeah, because we've done all our testing there. That's the outer limits. That's your outer scope. So everything in here dies at the outer scope end. If I just highlight it, there we go, highlighted. There it is highlighted. So that is your end marker. That's your end of function. Which makes that there outside the if statement. So we can carry on the if statement, I think. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the IO stream. I could just use Printf. I can't be bothered. I'm going to use Printf. I've got it, so use it. Why not? Because it doesn't do standard strings, you idiot. Okay, let's do it properly. Standard C error. Console error. Some IDEs, like this one, have an error output. So, in other words, I want it to go to there, rather than... but it'll probably just output to C out, knowing Microsoft. Yeah, no comment. We'll take your error message, which we sent in the given error message. It was given to us, and we'll print it out. So that's what we are going to give it. An end line is new line, by the way. It's just a \n. Well, it's Microsoft. It might just be \r or \n. Microsoft, do what you want with that. I don't care. And we'll also obviously notify ourselves of C error. And we'll just put the error there as well. That's easy enough, isn't it? Now, if our shaders fail, well, the program's failed, really. We can't carry on. We can't put anything on the screen because our shaders don't work. And I've done something wrong again. No operator matches these operands. Really? We can't put an error down and then stream std end line there. Huh? Are you taking the Michael? Unknown type. That's in chars. That's in C. That's not in C++. That's in C++, and the next line isn't. Printf. And we're just going to do... let's have a look. %s in brackets \n. Can we get this message off my screen? Can't see what I'm doing. Thank you. Comma. Error. Finish. Is that an error? No. So it's in C. Here's what it was trying to tell me there. That's fine. TV's trying to turn itself off because it's a joker. There was no operation performed for a long time. Would you like me to shut down? No. Jesus. What is it with modern things wanting to shut down? I know it's all about saving power and stuff, but I'm bloody well using it. Come on. It's switched on for a reason. Right. This is where the problem arises. Because really, what I want to do here is just type in exit 99, which is what I'm going to type. Alright? 99, please, not 00. Because that's my error code. I always use 99 for me. In other words, I've created an error. So I'm doing that. Is there anything on the graphics card at this point in time? No. Am I safe coming out of the program at this point? Yes. As long as we make our shaders first before we do anything else. So I've just put a condition on our shaders. So here, yeah, I'm writing an essay. A condition has now arisen that shaders must be compiled first before any other data is sent to the graphics card. That condition is because of that one line. In other words, that's bad programming. There you go. So learn that. That's something you need to know when you're programming. And that is why I start noting everything. Because this line should be changed as it sets a condition. And I totally agree with that. And I am going to stick with that. Okay. As long as you know. Output given message to console. But that's where it goes. It's the error console to error console. Let's do it right. And that just output the message given by Opengl. And that's it. That's the whole thing. That's what we're going to use as our error checker. So at this point, I want to make a note. So this is going to be on Amberskies. C++. Sorry, it's Amberskies 2019, isn't it? C++ game programming. and it's shaders dot cpp oh good, it will move. Colon, check compile error. And I'm just going to put note, so ** ends by setting a condition. Please change. There you go. Part of the program now. Where can I put that? I'll pop this over here. Don't need me UO notes there, do I? No. Pop those up a bit. So I'll put that next to Amberskies. There we go. Lovely. All done. I'm quite happy with that. So we have made some progress. We have made progress into what I can only call the shader area. Shader programming, didn't explain much as I went through it. If you want any answers to that, good luck, I will give them. Display, if you want any answers to how that works, I'll explain anything you want. I'll even explain it in a different language. Choose your language. Don't try and test me, because I'm not very forgiving. Yeah. Okay. Lovely. Yep, that works. So I'm happy with Twitch. Twitch just worked nice. Big shout out to Sil for joining us. That's great. I liked that bit. My screen is now full of windows. Lots and lots of windows. It's quite ridiculous what I can see here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bid you all farewell now. It's coming up to 6 o'clock in the evening here. I've been on now for 4 hours. So I think that's long enough. And I wish you all the best for your evening. Take care and have fun.